Welcome to the Max Bet Podcast, a podcast dedicated to everything gaming. I'm Landon Jones, here with Mike McKiskey. Let's get started.
What is going on, man? I love the sweatshirt. It's a good way to be. A little Max Bet action.
Sweater.
Looking
Yeah,
good.
it's 70 degrees. I don't even need a sweater.
It's like it's comfortable. Leave me alone.
It's my comfort sweater.
Yeah, man. It's nice here too. It's like 65 and sunny. I'm sitting out there going, we should be outside, instead we're inside doing this. But as soon as this is over, walking outside just to do it. Start getting the base tan going. Very Irish.
Yeah, when that kind of that spring smell starts coming around and summer's just around the corner and birds are chirping and there's a smell of freshly cut grass. This, my friend, is awesome.
That's it, man. The fresh cut grass will always make me think of playing football. Because I finished my career on turf, right? But like growing up, it was always like fresh cut grass. It was, that was the smell of it. So that'll always make me think of strapping the helmet on and having to go run more than I care to and bash some people. It was fun. Yeah, it was good. So that's what I look forward to.
Sometimes when we're doing these interviews, I forget that we're also being videoed, and for the YouTube, I think we're just talking from our past.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. What's up with you, man? You cutting your grass? You got the lawnmower fired up?
Cutting the grass, doing some football drills in the front yard just to scare the neighbors, keep all the kids off my lawn. It's not much, man. I was laughing. So we'll have to see how this goes. So I was getting bored and trying to work out a few more times a week, right? But I don't like doing your basic workouts. Like I'll do the Peloton. I don't really like running, hate running, which is evident by my physique. But I was like, I should do something I haven't done since I was a kid. So, I did. I went on and ordered a pair of rollerblades.
You are awesome.
So I hope that those come and that I, can kind of pick it up. Like they always say, it's like riding a bike. You'll figure it out. I'm hoping that's true here.
Not true.
But if not, I'm going to show up next week or whenever they arrive. I'll show up just completely like scarred from falling into everybody's house here in the neighborhood. But yeah, that's my new adventure. Picking up a few pair inlines.
So, okay, I got to unpack this for a minute.
Rock your world.
First of all, rollerblading is a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, I remember
kind of weird doing it by yourself as a man now. Just doesn't seem right.
I got kids.
So you always want to, for sure you can. But you see a 35-year-old single man just rollerblading by himself.
Not single. Just alone. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of raises some eyebrows. So 2 years ago, my buddy, he ran 30 miles for his 30th birthday.
Yeah.
And he needed someone to film it. It's on YouTube. It's called 30 for my 30th. So he wanted me to run with him and film. And I go, dude, I've been training. I can't run 30 miles.
Just wake up and run 30 miles with the camera.
Most I've ever done is a marathon, which is a full marathon is 26.2. Like I'm not even in half marathon shape, let alone,
I heard Robert won that marathon you guys ran.
Yeah. He did.
True story.
In the Perry world, he beat his whole family. He's the only one that ran in it.
Perfect.
But so I told him I would rollerblade it so that I could film him because I knew I couldn't bike and film, and I feel like rollerblading would be the only way to
keep up.
So I haven't rollerbladed like you in 10, 15, 20 years. I like how I doubled that real quick, but I rollerbladed 30 miles and I almost died. And I haven't brought the rollerblades out since because I didn't want to be the guy rollerblading by himself with no So
well, next time I come down, if assuming they come, I'll get mine and we'll rollerblade together. So that neither one of us look like
you and I rollerblading.
I'm just more concerned. Like, I don't worry about my physical safety. Cause even when I was younger, like you could stop, but like, wasn't going that fast or trying to do stunts or all that, but I would just bail into grass. Right. And in my neighborhood, there's a tons of grass, like maybe somebody's lawn, but they'll be like, who's this idiot? But for me, like, I would worry if I went by you going on like the boardwalk or something, like by, in San Diego going, everybody get out of the way. You're going to get mowed over. Cause if I can't stop there, it's somebody else is going to get hurt. I'll be fine. But
here's what I will tell you. When you fall and you remember falling as a kid, you get right back up. You're going to feel it when you fall.
Oh, I'm sure. I got to believe. Yeah. I feel things now. I mean, that I, worked out the other day. I'm like, man, my elbow's still sore 3 days. That's weird. What's going on there? Like, it's starting already. So yeah, one wipeout on the rollerblades. I'm like, sell them on eBay or whatever, offer up.
And good news. I'm moving back to Vegas.
Oh, you heard it here first.
So that's a Max Bet original.
Whatever.
Yeah, Max Bet exclusive. So we can start rollerblading
Boom.
together. It's kind
Come
of
up
my
to the
point.
house. That's it. Yeah, exactly. We'll have to get somebody to film and just have us like doing.
Hey, honey, I'm going blading with Landon. I'll be back before the lights come on.
Bert can either get his own pair of blades or he'll drive his golf cart, film.
I don't think Yeezy makes blades, but
if they did, he'd be all over.
Oh, he probably already have them.
Jordans to work.
So what's going on, man? So what's happening with our EKG boys?
Oh, just
what's going down in the underground?
Everything. So I don't know if they sent out. This is a new report. I think it's new to me. So I'll just put it this way. I'm not sure if they send this every time or not, but they put the gaming recap out, right? This guy DJ, and it's really helpful. So I just was reading it because it's everything that just happened, like in the first month of the year. They just recap it and then give you some commentary on it, which is cool. So you kind of get a sense of who's doing well in the world of digital interactive, who's doing well in the world of like what we do, land-based suppliers, just different things. So it's like it's fascinating to see. Like, oh, I don't know anything about sports, but here you go. Here's 5 bullet points on sports and what's going on. So fairly interesting stuff. So it's like, if you're lazy, like, you always say, well, I don't want to read. Well, you read that and it's 6 pages. It gives you everything. So if you don't want to read the whole thing, you can just read a quick overview.
It's like the hot new trends for summer.
Yeah. But
we'll go with the summer vibe
based on data. So yeah.
Based on data. Yeah.
It would be,
not fashion.
I don't know how to bring that back to inline skating, but yeah, exactly right. and then the other thing they just sent out, which is always exciting for us on the land-based side, is the latest game performance information. So if you're out there and you're wondering what are the hottest games, who do I buy, who do I place, boom, they got it all right there for you. Top games. So
is it public yet that the EKG awards this year are going to be virtual? Is that public?
Pretty sure. Yeah, I saw it on an email.
If not, it is now.
Again, another breaking news story. Virtual EKG awards. So we're hoping that should be a good event.
Yeah,
fun to watch. Maybe more people get to watch because it's online versus in Vegas. But bring your own cocktail, I'm assuming at that point. But yeah, that'll be fun. That's always a fun event. They've done that. We did it last year, tuxedos and the whole thing. So what'll be interesting to see is how many people put the tux on to sit here like this, to just really do the time-honored tradition of looking amazing. Like me, I don't know, maybe throw a nice suit on, pour a scotch, and just go and watch everybody win awards. That'd be fun.
Not a shot. I would swim trunks, flip-flops, and maybe a sports cut.
You're wearing your rollerblades just to the meeting?
Yeah, we should do an award show, like best podcast, Max Bet podcast. one winner this year. That's it, everybody. Thanks for joining me.
Just create our own awards to give ourselves awards.
The Max Bet award.
What's that? I feel like it's
and the winner is us. Hey, it's like Robert Perry.
You're a pathetic loser. You had to give yourself an award. That's how great you are. Don't do that. But do go check out the EKG site for updates on their award show, on their different reports, on their recaps, etc. So ekgamingllc.com. Those guys are fantastic. They'll help you out with whatever you need, basically. If it's gaming, ready to roll. So who's today's guest, brother?
Most people know him as LG.
Yeah.
Mr. Loren Gill, who was the former GM of San Manuel Casino. Have you heard of it?
I have. It's only the biggest in the West Coast.
Yeah, I'm pumped to talk to LG, especially in this setting, because before it was more in a work setting and he was the boss, and it was this is a much more relaxed setting. We get to chat with him about his career, kind of what he's working on, and get some tips and tricks and some advice from the man, the myth, the legend.
Mr. LG. Hey, thank you for making time and coming on, joining the show with the Max Bet Show here, bud. Appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, welcome.
I'm a big fan of what you guys are doing. I told Kiski the other day, you guys kind of got this Mike in the morning vibe going on, right? And so I like how you guys are working together and having some fun while you're doing it. And you've had some great guests. I've enjoyed checking you guys out on your YouTube channel.
Yeah,
following some of the fun people you've had on there, real cast of characters you've been able to attract. I guess so. Here I am, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I was going to say, just another one on the list. It's perfect. Yeah, it's we appreciate you watching. For me, it's fascinating how much it goes when you just ask somebody, hey, we've had a good chat, like in the past, like I always like talking to you just offline, like you want to do this, and I'd say 9 out of 10 they're like, yeah, let's jump on and let's do it. So it's fun.
I'm pretty impressed, actually, and I just want to say this before we get started, because Loren and I had a conversation this morning at 8 o'clock, was it?
Yeah.
8 a.m. And you were in California. You were in SoCal going to different casinos, It is now 3 p.m. and you are back in Arizona in your wine cellar office.
Right.
You're impressed. Doing a podcast.
Yeah. How about that?
You're running and gunning, baby. You're running and gunning.
I wouldn't miss it for the world. You know, I didn't sleep real well last night, Landon, because I was so excited about talking to you.
That's it.
Yeah, so I hit the road about 6:30 this morning, and I bounced around. I stayed over at Harrah's Rincon last night, and I bounced around Sequan, Viejas, and Rincon, of course, this morning. And yesterday I hit all the rest of them. So wow. I landed there about noon or 1 o'clock. So I put in 8 casinos, I think, and a few hours of sleep in less than 24 hours. So it was really good just to bounce around and reacquaint myself with what's going on in the market. Yeah.
Working harder than me.
That's a problem.
I don't know that anybody works harder than you.
I call him the human Red Bull. He just never stops. You guys can fight for that title. Meanwhile, I sleep a solid 7 every night. Yeah. What, anything jump out to you?
Bigger than I win.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. Pin him down. Though I will say, I don't know if you saw this. There's a viral video I just saw for, in Oklahoma, one of the OU football players tried to pick a fight with a guy in the bar that was smaller than him. And that guy turned out to be an MMA fighter and just beat the wheels off of him. So bigger, and I'm with you. Normally bigger wins, but maybe not. You know, we'll see.
Hey, Mike, us big guys got to stick together. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt, yeah.
I really liked your show the other day when it was ox, and I don't remember where you guys landed. Is he a rabbit or a deer or what is he?
Well, I am an ox, but I'm an ankle-biting ox.
Club. He could be the it's like the movie Ferdinand I watch with my kids. He's the baby bull. He'll be an ox. He'll be a full-size ox at the next time the year of the ox comes around.
I like it. Well, good, guys. I'm just really excited about talking to you all, and I'm a fan of what you're doing here for the industry. I'm a fan of many of the people I know personally you've had on the show. And so I just think it's really cool what you guys are doing. And I'm just honored and thrilled to be here today. So thank you so much for inviting me to be on the show.
Anytime. We're fired up to chat with you. I think, you've always been really smart guy. I mean, we've had a couple dinners where I laugh. I feel like you get more done on the back of a napkin than most guys get done in Excel. So, that's always, always fun to be a part of some of those conversations. But, for me, I think I was introduced to you at around the time when you were running general manager Sam Manuel. You went on to be the CEO there. And before that, I think you were, correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say CEO/general manager at Seneca back east. So a lot of us probably know you from your later years here in the executive chair, but how'd you get into the biz? Like, I know I'm always fascinated by how people start in gaming, because it's almost never on purpose. It was like, I accidentally did a valet thing and then I was the GM or whatever. So what's your story? How'd you get into the biz?
I wish it was that easy going from valet to GM. There's probably a few of those out there, but probably not a whole lot. Sure. Thanks, Mike. It's been an interesting journey for me and a real fun ride in the, kind of growing up in the biz. I took a very different approach. I always was in restaurants, hotels, hospitality until my mid-20s. I started very early, had to work my way through college, right? But I went to graduate school at Northwestern. And at that time I graduated, I'm gonna date myself here. I graduated in 1995 from the Kellogg School at Northwestern. And at that time, Harrah's Entertainment had a program called President's Associate Program, where they recruited people out of top tier business schools to enter into a management development, leadership development program. So I entered into that program with about 7 other people that year and some real interesting folks. And so my first job in the biz was in Memphis. At the time, Harrah's Entertainment, formerly the Promise Companies, and then Harrah's Entertainment was based in Midtown Memphis, Tennessee. So I moved, funny thing, I graduated on the 17th of June and I packed up the U-Haul and moved from Chicago down to Memphis, and I started Monday morning bright and early and, button seat. And so, I started with Harrah's back in 1995. And it was a cool program because it was really about learning the business and helping them grow. And I hit Harrah's at a time when the riverboat division was really coming online and really thriving. And so, many of the jurisdictions, both in tribal government gaming as well as riverboat gaming, really started getting a real push in the mid and late 1990s. So I was excited to be a part of that. So I worked on the development and food and beverage team and worked on several new products for Harrah's across the country. I traveled a lot, but that was my foray into the gaming business, was really starting at a kind of a mid-manager, low-level, director-level position at Harrah's. And I'm always very thankful, and that was a different generation. That was the Phil Satry, Ben Peternell, Colin Reed, Mike Rose days. And so certainly it was a different company back then, and they were at the beginning of really blossoming and growing into a national and frankly international empire at that point in time. It was a fun time.
What was your thoughts on gaming coming into, you went through the hospitality kind of program and you were in restaurants, and now all of a sudden you're kind of inducted into this world with casinos. Was that a huge,
like holy shit, or
yeah,
what was
like
that?
a huge holy shit, like what's going on? Were you excited? Did you like it? I mean, what was kind of your thoughts there?
All of the above. So my first interview / conversation was with a gentleman named Tim Wilmot. I know you guys know Tim Wilmot. And he was running Harrah's Joliet at the time when I was living and working in Chicago and going to school. And so I got to know Tim a little bit and talking to him. And yes, in my first meetings throughout the business, it was, oh my gosh, what the heck have I gotten into? And then the other side of it is from a personal standpoint. Mom, don't hate me for this. My parents and my grandparents, I grew up Southern Baptist, and I grew up just outside of St. Louis. So gambling, Southern Baptist, you don't get a lot of that, right? It doesn't really mesh real well. So I think it probably took me about 12 years before I told them I was doing something other than running restaurants for a living.
Like, I go to the restaurants, but don't worry about all these electronic beeps and bells that you hear in the background. That's a separate program.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So yeah, it was an interesting, start in the beginning. And I think one of the cool things, the blessing I had, is being part of that development team back in the day. I traveled a lot, so I got to meet a lot of really cool, interesting people in my travels. And I always sought to learn and be a student of the game, and had many great mentors through those travels that really helped me learn and grow and develop. And you always learn some of the stupid nonsense stuff too, and you discard that. But having exposure to a lot of different people really, helped me in my younger days of learning the business and helping grow a career in the business.
Yeah.
Yes, especially if they're good people. I feel like that's always key, because everybody's style is usually, just a collage of, 20 people or however many people that were close to him. You go, okay, I learned this from LG, learned this from Landon, learned this from Tim Wilmot, and then that all becomes now who you are, right? Or your approach to the biz. So yeah, no, it's good that anybody can get out and have so much exposure. It's huge.
Yeah, it's truly great. You take and learn from everybody, and some of it's really great and good stuff, and some of it maybe not so good. You just kind of discard that, right? I'll name drop a couple of guys. Well, one for sure, and a woman maybe you don't. But Jay Savigny was always a real good mentor and coach for me. I met him early on in my career, and then he invited me to move from. He was running Harrah's North Kansas City at the time, and he invited me to move from the corporate office down to New Orleans. So I did a lot of the development work on Harrah's New Orleans. And then was part of the opening team there. We opened late 1999. So building a rapport relationship with Jay Savigny was really great. And there was a wonderful woman there named Karen Sock. I don't know if you guys know Karen Sock, but I believe she was the first African-American female GM in the country, and just a real powerful woman. And she was one who could get employees standing up and cheering and roaring and just being excited about coming to work. And she coined a little phrase that I stole. So hi, Karen. R equals P, relationships equals productivity. And I really took that to heart about how, hey, I know you and you know me, and we're all in this thing together. And the better we can get along and take care of each other, the more successful we'll all be, right? So as I'm going this new transition in my life, it's been real interesting, because I'm really focused on just helping people be successful, right? And I always think back in those days in 1999, because the storybook was difficult in New Orleans in the beginning. And so thinking back to some real humble beginnings and some real humble experiences, and a lot of school of hard knocks before I even got to graduate school. And then going in and learning from some great people like those two was just a real fabulous start in my career. And I was in my mid-20s probably back then, or even early 30s. So New Orleans was a special place. It's really a place where I kind of cut my teeth and got to know a lot of great people through both of those experiences.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So we've gone a little bit through your history, and it doesn't seem like it was very traditional for you to be in gaming, which is staying true to most people that we interview. What are you up to now? So you've kind of run the gamut. You've been at the top of the top, and now you're in a wine cellar. And what are you doing? What are you working on? How are you keeping busy?
Yeah, well, I will tell you, late last year, we started a new company called LD2G Enterprises.
Cool.
And yeah, we're real excited about consulting and advisory services that we're providing out in the industry. And I wanted to really share the story of how LD2G came together, because most people call me LG, right? but they understand that my name is LDG. That's my initials, right? Well, my daughter, I have a beautiful young 2-year-old daughter, and her name is LD, or her initials, excuse me, are LDDG. And I was trying to figure out how to create LD squared G, right? That was supposed to be the logo, right? And I couldn't figure it out how to type it and put it in there. So it was just too difficult. So I said, hell of it. And so it's LD2G. Really, my goal is to build something special as a family business, and really something special to honor my daughter. So
that's cool.
Her name is Layton. And so I'm hopefully building something really, really special for her. And so we really have 5 different pillars: advisory and consulting, which has been a lot of fun, working with owners and CEOs and boards and helping them just think strategically and work through some things. And then also working with people in Indian country, right? Tribal government gaming, really helping them think through development, design, renovation, capital investment, and helping them lift their tribal nations up. So that's been a really fun part. And then on the third leg, everybody these days is talking about sports betting, right? Or online gaming. So yep. I have a couple of really good friends down in Southern California that are working on something really special that I've been helping them think through how to take their product to market. And then advisory services is always cool, but the other one that's been cool is networking, right? And brand ambassador work, and helping people think through how do consumers use products, and how do you build great brands. And that's been a real fun, active entrepreneurial spirit. And then the last but not least is I grew up on a farm, like I said, outside of St. Louis. And so that those roots hold true. Our family has 5 horses, and we have 3 Arabian horses and 2 that are between 2 and 3 years old. And we really hope that we have something special in the horse business. So we've been horsing around quite a bit.
Wow.
That's funny. So I'm city boy, I have to tell you. So I don't know anything about horses. I know what a horse is. Like I could point to one and identify it. But when you say that, are those something special? Is it like a race horse program, or are you breeding horses? Like, what does that mean when you say special in the horse biz?
Yeah, it's really Arabian horses in this where we are really about show horses. So they perform in the ring, right? And there's all different classes and classifications and age groups, etc. But yes, they are purebred Arabian horses, and the youngest 2 are really fabulous, fascinating young fillies, and we have high expectations and high hopes for how they're going to perform in the ring. And so they're currently in a pasture, just kind of living life and hanging out and doing horse things. And they're just around two years old, but soon they will be going to a trainer, and our trainer will help get them show ready, right, and get them to be performance horses. So we're excited about that. And there's a whole group of people who that's their thing and that's what they do. And so it's kind of a cool hobby, right? And hopefully we have some fun with it and do some cool stuff. And then we also have some land that our family wants to do some land management, hunting, fishing grounds, and some cool stuff down in Southern Illinois eventually. So we're kind of migrating that way into getting reunited with the earth and the animals, right? So
I want to come hang out with you, man. It sounds like you're doing all the fun stuff. And Mike, also, I'm guessing that most horses are thankful that you are a city boy, because if you came up to come ride me and on the horse, I'm out of here.
All right, so I'll give you this quick story about a horse. So we went to Mexico on a cruise, my family. So I'm 16, but I'm still a big guy. I was 300 pounds, right? So we get off, and the guy, we didn't have plans. We're just going to hang around the day. So the guy goes, hey, no, horseback riding. And my dad's a big guy like me. So we look at each other like, bud, see us? There's no horseback riding for us to do. And he goes, no, guys, we have army horses. So I shit you not. I show up. We go, okay, if you're willing to break your horse's back. So sure enough, we get there, and the horse, if I don't know that it was a Clydesdale, but it was these massive horses. Horse looked at me going, you okay up there, Peanut? He was galloping. He didn't even feel me. And I'm like, man, this thing was, I was even a little nervous, because I'm like, I thought I was going to break the horse. And then I realized this horse was totally in control. So there are horses for everyone, but yes, you're right. Most horses are probably grateful that I'm not trying to rope and ride or whatever the hell you would do. So
yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely. But it's a fun, cool hobby, right? It's something different. Not you don't see too many guys horse around every day. So it's kind of a cool deal, right?
I'm just thinking that tagline: an ox rides a horse in Mexico. Like that's the title for this vacation.
Might be one of your next upcoming shows.
Yeah, we can make it happen. It's our show.
Special on that. Oh man. So when you said tribal and like going back to one of your legs that you guys look at, like with development, is that in casino or more broadly, or I'm assuming both?
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Certainly the focus is casino and hospitality, right?
Sure.
But tribes are into all kinds of great things these days, and the world is a big open marketplace. So certainly many more tribes are getting into the online sports betting game, right? That's one, but they also are into many other industries, really depending upon geographically or where they are in respect to their native homelands. So, it's geographically related. Yes. So really just helping native enterprises think through where they could go and grow and do some really positive thing for their people and for their nation. I think that's real important. It's part of giving back, and certainly what tribal government gaming has done for many native nations has been real positive. Right, and then there's, on the same hand, there's many that continue to struggle and suffer, and so we just want to be respectful to our native friends as well.
Lately, I feel like through the podcast, almost I've learned so much more about what tribes do. Because like for me, it's always been casino focused, right? We go in, we know the tribes there, they kind of bless the capital, bless the deals, but then you realize, we go to certain reservation, like, oh yeah, see that Home Depot, like that's the tribe, that's theirs. Like they have this, Bass Pro Shop, or they have this chain of restaurants. And you're like, wow, it's more than just that. And then, it's on the business side. Then they also do a lot of their own hospitals and schooling and everything. It's just fascinating how it all
the education piece is really fascinating, and then sharing and teaching tribal customs, right, from elders down through younger generations, and really keeping their language and their culture alive is very, very important. And my experience with both of those nations, the Seneca Nation and the San Manuel Nation, has been they're real honorable, respectful folks, and they want to take care of their land. They want to take care of their homeland. They want to take care of people in their community. So I think it's just real noble causes that they work for. It's so much more on top of just running a casino, or so much more on top of running their businesses. It's really about taking care of a nation of people, right, and helping them have long-term self-reliance, self-generation. So I think it's real important for them to have an active seat in these types of conversations.
So do you take your experience that you had working with tribes and maybe go to a smaller tribe that's trying to get off the ground and kind of help set up a structure or a foundation for them?
Yes, that's a great question. I just talked to a Northern California tribe a couple of weeks ago that is doing exactly that, going through the compact process, going through, there's so much rules and regulations and negotiations that have to happen, right. City, county, state, federal. So helping them, get a leg up, helping them get prepared for whatever the businesses maybe be casinos or hotels or any other industries that they look to. Yes, that's something that I have a lot of pride and passion in, is helping them figure it out, because oftentimes they have limited resources. So you have to spend those resources where they really have the most benefit. So yes, and it's exciting and it's entrepreneurial, right? And at the end of the day, it's really about helping people, and that's been our key mantra, is helping people be successful, right? For me, it's not about the money, it's not about all the glitz and glamour anymore. It's really just about helping people be successful, and leading and coaching and teaching people to hopefully get a leg up and do a little bit better in their lives for the families. So that's been something that I've been really trying to focus on in the last few months in our new business ventures.
That was my segue for you, and I'll just end it, Mike, and you can.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I was going to ask what that change was like for you, working at a brick and mortar, being the boss at a big property, and then going off on your own and kind of starting your own program. And you've kind of already answered that. It's passion and it's excitement and it's new, but you're loving the process, it sounds like. So it's great.
Yeah. We had a good 5, almost 6-year run at San Manuel, right? And what a great tribe and what a great business, right? I'm so proud of the team there and what all they've been able to accomplish. And, the last 6 months has been interesting, right? I'm sure you guys see this in your business too. It ebbs and flows, and you have really great days and you have a lot of crap days, but I really enjoy what I'm doing and having this entrepreneurial spirit and working with a lot of really fun, creative, and smart people, but also not being just geographically grounded in one place, right? This has been a real good experience of being able to go out and meet a lot of really cool people and do some cool stuff. Kind of like what you said. I was in San Diego this morning and I'm back here, and I'll be in Northern California later this week, right? So it's fun to be out there talking and sharing and helping people again try to get their businesses going forward, because there's no doubt, right? The last year's been difficult for most everyone. And so helping people come through that, and hopefully I can give them some insight or some hope, and maybe give them a couple tools to support them and you know what I'm saying? Help them be real successful. And I think one of the best things about my travels over the last 25 years is the number of people I've met. So I got a really strong Rolodex of just great guys and gals who can help. I got a phone call just this morning, right, from some people on the East Coast, like, hey, we need a design and construction leader. Who do you know? Who's in your Rolodex? Who can you send our way, right? So it's that I love getting those phone calls because helping people, take maybe their next career move or helping people make good, positive connections is so important, right? In all of us as we go through our journey. So I have been thrilled just to kind of also take a step back and refocus on my health, mentally, physically, spiritually, and just kind of reinvest in me, and then also reinvest in my family, right? I got 2 kids. I have a 17-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter, and a wife who goes in there too. Yeah, and so it's been good just to get back into the mix with them as well. So that's been what everybody says is true. They grow up so fast, right? So it's been a chance for me to really spend some quality time with my children, and you never get that time back. So it's been fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. No, that's fascinating. I mean, everything about that sounds amazing. To getting healthy, getting focused, right? Clearing out a lot of the noise. I mean, I think that's for everybody. It's, the days go fast. I mean, you sit there and you wake up and you go, okay, I start email at whatever time, 7 a.m. and you're going, how's it 5 p.m.? Like, where'd the day go? Right. And then not to mention kids and whatnot. I mean, I think that's one of the upsides to COVID is that a lot of people are going, oh, I get to spend a little more time, more family dinner, more whatever, right? Whatever your version of that is. So it's glad to hear you're rocking and rolling on that.
You're right, Mike. And I love to cook. I grew up kind of in the kitchen and restaurant part of the business. And I love to cook. And so we eat really well at my house, right? And we have nice wine and it's not terrible. And so, but I think you're right. It's a chance for some families to get reacquainted and get readjusted. And some of them, maybe been a little bit of a challenge. But I'll tell you on the other side, the world is changing, right? And so now we're doing this in Zoom. A year ago, we'd be in a restaurant or a bar or in your office, right? Having this, and today we're doing it on Zoom, and you're seeing the workplace totally change, right? So much more businesses being conducted this way, and it's been challenging for many, and some people have quickly adapted, but I think using technology is going to be real important. And you're seeing it in the statistics and in the press about what's happening in the casino industry. You're seeing that the online channel of sports betting, online gaming, that transition is happening right now, right? And where many people said, oh, it'll never happen, or it may not come, or it won't come, or it'll be years down the road. That's happening now. And I think it really took a world event such as COVID to change people's mindsets, and the entrepreneurs and the creative thinkers said, okay, how can we take this negative, challenging issue and turn it on its head? And then how can we maximize the new opportunities that come? And I think you'll continue to see that entrepreneurial spirit go in our industry on a go forward basis. It's rapidly accelerating in what's happening in online gaming these days.
Yeah, no doubt. So talking about new future technologies in the casino space, and you've been in the gaming space for how many years? I mean, you've been very successful in this space. What are you most excited about that's coming to the future? Is it sports betting? Is it online gaming? What are you most excited about, like technology wise for casinos?
Yes, it's all of them, Landon.
Yeah, just everything. You're just excited.
Bring it.
It's all coming.
It's I liken it. We talked earlier about being in the riverboat division, and went from these really challenging economic towns to having a real good economic driver, and then having successful businesses that stimulated other businesses and careers. I think you're right in the middle of that right now. I am a firm believer that the technology will continue to grow and continue to develop, and as you're seeing it, and then that will open new channels for revenue streams and profits, right? So that's inevitable. We're living in it right now. I think the other thing, advancement in slot machines, to talk to you guys, is so critically important. I think that you will relatively quickly see, people betting on this, right? Real money gaming, even more prolific than it is today. And then in casinos, I've always thought the mobile wallet, liken it to when ticket in, ticket out technology replaced the coins. Certainly the mobile technology, I think, is going to be real important for the future in casinos. And that just as that technology changed from coins to paper, you'll see all of the infrastructure and regulations and all of the back of house support networks will definitely have to change and be significantly more robust. And I hate to say it, but really through the world of cybersecurity and transaction security. And all the things that happen out there. But yes, you're starting to see people do downloadable credit lines of credit, right? And you're starting to see some mobile technologies. I think that's really going to be much more in the future. But I'm gonna play both sides of the coin here.
Yeah.
People want to go out. They want to hang out with their friends and their family. They want to go have an experience. They want to go out and say, hey, Landon, what do you want to do? I'll come into town. Where we're going to go? We're going to go to the bar. We're going to go to a restaurant. Or we're going to go to a casino. Or we're going to go to a movie. Or we're going to go bowling. Or whatever it is that turns you on. I still believe that there's, for a long time, there's going to be a need, because the other side of this is the social connection like this is nothing like, hey, let's go out with our friends and our family and go out and have a good time tonight, right? But I do believe the online channels are going to really force the brick and mortar operators to think differently and think more creatively, because the market is only so big, right? The market will expand, but it'll be divided by many more different entertainment opportunities long term.
Yeah.
No doubt. No, I think the social part is huge. I mean, I think, because I don't know if I've ever been gambling at a casino and not had some random sidebar convo with somebody, right? Like, and I think because it's there to be had, even if you're just going, hey, get a load of this game, right? Like whether it's good or bad, you're just like, hey, can you believe it? Like they screwed me or they gave me all this money. What I'd be interested to know from you, so like, as you're kind of drawn on some of your past, high level executive experience and looking at some of these new technologies, how much do you think you have to just take a risk versus, relying on some of the old stuff? Because I think, you've been a pretty good risk taker. Like I remember one of the dinners I was talking about at the beginning when you're like just back a napkin math and you're showing me basically why you were going to add 1,000 slot machines to a building that you were managing. And I'm going, that seems like a lot of money to just do, with a ballpoint pen and a napkin, right? I mean, obviously you flushed it out after, but I'm just like, and you just kept saying, you go, trust the math, right? But is it as simple as that still? Or at some point you got to go, look, this is cutting edge and doesn't pencil as much as I maybe like, but we got to do it. Like when you're looking at mobile or cashless or whatever that thing is, like, how do you start evaluating that given the climate and how fast everything's changing?
Yeah, the answer is yes, 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 and yes, right? I just hate to say it. It's really quite that simple. And so short answer is, in part of where our firm is really trying to help people think differently and creatively and most importantly, strategically. How do you take what assets you have and deploy them most successfully against whatever those opportunities are, right? Because not everybody has a lot of great resources.
Sure.
So you have to partner with somebody or collaborate with others to be able to get it done. But here's what I think. The early adopters and the people who are out leading typically win. Okay. Yeah. Look at marketplaces in the 90s and early 2000s. The first entrance into a brick and mortar community typically won, right? Highest revenues, highest returns, shortest paybacks. Yeah. The first movers typically win. Now, here's the thing. You wouldn't know it by looking at me, right? But I'm a math geek at heart. So you have to do the math. You have to really understand the different permutations and combinations of all the good stuff that could happen, as well as all the bad stuff that could happen. And so where I typically land is, I don't know I want to be the very first one, but certainly being in that kind of first quartile is very important when you're pushing technology. Oftentimes there's much risk and there's things you could lose considerably if you haste. What is it? Don't hurry up to make a bad decision.
Oh, right.
Really doing your homework and really being methodical about it, really talking to smart people and really kicking it around a lot. That's what most people don't understand. That's what we do a lot in the background. Just like you said, hey, Mike, what do you think? Hey, Landon, what do you think? Let's just sketch this out. Oh, that's really smart. Or then you inevitably find somebody who says, that's a really stupid idea. Well, tell me why that's really stupid, right?
Show me.
And I will tell you the number of people who told me, Loren, you're out there. You need to reel it in because that's really stupid. What's the old saying? You got to get a couple people in the car before you drive it off the cliff. Right. And so this is one where I don't know that you want to be on what they call it, the bleeding edge, but certainly being out there and open-minded and being respectful to a lot of people there's so many smart people, right? And smart technologies. How can you capitalize from doing it the best with the best people and the best technology? Combining those is really, I think, where the best outcomes come long term, right? Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
I'll tell you, here's my other side. If you don't innovate and you don't grow, the world is completely changing. So it's grow, or die. Which you pick? Which one are you going to do? And so, one of my favorite sayings is, and I use this in a leadership class. One of my favorite sayings is, President Kennedy, I think it was 1964 at Rice University. And he was giving his speech about we're going to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon, not because it is easy, but because it is hard. And so having those great thoughts about and plans of where's your vision, where's your strategy, where are you trying to go? Okay, now go try to figure out all the stuff that could go wrong before it goes wrong, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes the things that go oops or uh-oh in the middle of the night can have quite terrible ramifications if you don't think it all the way through. So, option A, option B, option C, and then the oh shit option when it goes sideways.
The let's hope this oopsie doesn't come to life option.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
You know what scares me, and I'm trying to think about how I could shape this up into a question for you, but I'm just going to tell you what makes me nervous for brick and mortar casinos with online gaming and sports betting. It's the people that aren't preparing, right? Because you only get one shot to acquire a player at brick and mortar. It's going to be the same with online gaming. So if San Manuel offers like a very robust online gaming platform, they have a great sports book, they have now their hotel, it's a full suite operation, they have everything they're offering. I might switch as a player now because I like to play sometimes from my house and I'm getting points at your property. So what does that do to brick and mortar casino? That ultimately, yes, we're going to expand we're going to expand the amount of people that can play, but we're also going to shrink the amount of people that go to individual properties or switch people that go to individual properties. And could that hurt brick and mortar?
You said a lot in that whole.
I did. That's why I said brace yourself.
Captain Red Bull.
Brace yourself before this question because I wanted to get your opinion. Have you unpacked it?
Yes, okay. Absolutely. So I think here's the good thing. History is being written in the great state of New Jersey.
Yep.
So there's a lot of data there today. Cool. And so if you follow it and you follow other jurisdictions that are coming online, what do you see? You certainly see some people splitting trips or maybe even making more trips, right? Exactly what you said. Hey, I'm commuting today, or I'm on the train, or I'm on the bus, or I'm gonna, take $100 and I'm gonna put it on this app. I think that's very true. I think the difference is what is the consumer looking from an experiential standpoint, right?
Yep.
If you're simply there just to gamble, i.e. play blackjack online, put down a sports bet or play some slot machines, that's a very different mindset than the people who say, hey, what are you doing tonight? Let's go out and, maybe check out a band or check out a restaurant or a casino. So I think the answer is you'll see certainly more people on a younger perspective who are very familiar and grew up with technology, who are very, they feel comfortable. And I think there are some customers who will never get comfortable with that.
Yeah. We are getting to the end, and we'll let you have another call out because you did a mid kind of ending call out, but we are the gaming podcast. So this is always my fun question for all of our guests. Do you have a gambling story that you can share of a night out that you had a great time? You didn't have to win a lot, but just a gambling story, as we are a gambling podcast.
Boy, that's a good one.
Great.
I'm in and out of a lot of casinos, not particularly a big gambler, but I did have one good night not too long ago, probably, 3 or 4 months ago. And I kind of got into this Ultimate X gig, right? That's kind of a fun game.
Video poker.
Yeah.
Right up Landon's alley.
I was just learning. And so for those of you who don't know, right, it's really about the multipliers. You're playing for the multipliers and you want to hit something really good, right? And I hit something and I was playing a 5-play Ultimate X. And I was just, I like what you said. And then it was, quarter.
And
then,
nice.
Yeah. And then so the guy next to me, we're just bantering. I don't know the guy, hey, how's it going? That kind of nonsense, just like Mike was talking about. So I got like a 4, 3, 2 times. The next hand, kid you not, playing double bonus. Ace, ace, deuce, ace, ace. Dealt.
Aces with a kicker on the bottom 4 with a 4x multiplier.
Yeah. So
what is
I'm
that,
over here
20 grand?
No, 5 grand at a quarter, 5 grand.
Oh, okay.
And so, but here's me. I mean, so that's to have that dealt to you. That's right. I'm like, so I asked the attendant there. I'm like, what do I do? I don't know this game. What do I do with it? hold, and then like, run the video, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Ready payday. But
put it on TikTok.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Right on. And then interested to hear. So you talk about the max bet challenge and the call out for somebody else. And I know you kind of mentioned earlier somebody, but did you have somebody coming into this that you were thinking in terms of who would you like to see us on in a future episode? Like your cast of characters, is unbelievable.
Yeah, I like Ferranzoni just because he's a good time and he's so knowledgeable and experienced. I think he'd be a fun interview.
Awesome.
If you could get Bob Bogner, right? If you could get Bob to talk online just because of his great stories, for those listeners out there, Bob is one who likes to tell a story of he basically moved to Las Vegas, from Arizona, and I think he had like a Chevy Vega and everything owned in a car, and said, "Hey, I'm going to work." He started, working downtown in old Las Vegas, and just had an amazing 40+ year run with Bill Boyd and the Boyd family. He's truly, for me, just a gracious, nice person, and just obviously very successful and accomplished. And he might be able to throw a couple of words of wisdom out there for the listeners, just hopefully give them a couple of pointers along the way. So I'll give you two. One kind of on the fun, obviously very successful and accomplished, and just somebody, a long-term gaming legend. I think Bob Bogner. So there you go. I got two for you.
Awesome, love it.
I'm stealing that term, by the way. The king of Ka-ching. I might make a T-shirt for Max.
He might have a trademark. You never know.
Yeah, King of Ching, right? I thought it was. You guys got to look that up. And then, hey, I wanted to shout out both the Seneca Nation, really great people there at the tribe, as well as San Manuel Band Mission Indians, right? Just really great people there doing some great work for their tribal nations. So thanks for just letting me throw a little, attaboy out there.
Thanks for coming on. By the way,
no, appreciate your time. Don't thank me. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on, guys. I just really like what you're doing. I'm a big fan, and I'm honored and blessed just to share some stories with you guys, and it's been really great. So thank you both. Good to catch up with you, rekindle our relationship. Thank you so much.
Right on. You got it.